So that's something to think about. Is this getting me to where I want to get? It's back to the why are you doing this? What's your outcome? What is it you're trying to do? And make sure whatever you do fulfills that. Don't just take a job to make some money. You can do other to make money. Make sure it's further in your career. I'm Zane Puchalowski. I run an engineering company up the street. I've taught here in mechatronics quite a bit. I come down here a lot to talk to you guys about life and money and finances and figuring out your jobs and your mindset and all that kind of shit. No, actually, I didn't bring anything. I'm basically here for you guys to ask questions, and I try to help you as best I can. In return, I'm going to steal some audio and some video. If you guys haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, Zane Engineers Life is out there. TikTok, Instagram, the whole shebang. There's a lot of content to help you guys. If you're thinking about getting a job or doing interviews, there's hours and hours of shit out there to help you. If you want to talk about finances and building your place in life, there's tons of stuff out there for you, right? So subscribe, help me out, help me build the channel. My main goal, my personal mission, I create people who create people. That's what I do in life now. I've fulfilled my life to the point. My company is amazing. I make tons of money. I do great. My family's awesome. Now I can come back and fulfill and help people like you do what it is you want to do in life. Now, to finish that out, you're at the perfect time, in the perfect place, in the perfect major, doing the perfect thing, in the perfect part of the world, okay? I don't think you guys understand how much work is coming back to North America right now. Everything that left is re-onshoring. There's massive, massive, massive build-outs. Even the civil engineers are getting to do shit. We're building plants, we're doing add-ons, assembly lines. That Inflation Reduction Act, all it did is put a shit ton of money into the Tennessee EV plants. So we've been building out Ford and Toyota and all other EV plants for the past 6 months. There's massive amounts of work out there, okay? If you want to do anything technically or in engineering and you can't find a job, A, you suck, B, give me a call, okay? D, check out all of my YouTube channels. Like, what do I preach? Go get your job, okay? That's my big thing. Whatever it is you want to do, go ask for it, go take it, go make it happen, go get it to do, okay? Been preaching that to Freddie for a while. He just found his gig, right? How'd you find your gig?
Doing what the video said.
Calling people and not taking no for an answer. Freddie actually fight clubbed me back in the day. I was famous for telling you guys, hey, connect with me on LinkedIn, and then I'd ignore you. Hey, send me an email, and I'd ignore you because I wanted you to take the next step. Freddie showed up in my office one day and wouldn't leave, so he stood outside the door for like 2 hours. And then finally my poor admin let him in, and then I had meetings stacked up for another hour, so he sat there. He waited like 2 to 3 hours before he finally got a chance to talk to me. And then we've changed his life ever since, right? So point of that is go make shit happen, go do things, whatever it is you want, go get it. Okay, with all that out of the way, any initial questions? Life, major, money, anything, what you got? Don't be scared.
So where did you start out?
Where did I start? My old man built houses back in Mississippi. He did that for 30-something years, and I realized that sucked. I was knee-deep in mud, tying rusty steel together before we poured concrete one day, and this dude asked me, hey, are you going to be a builder like your dad? And I think I was like 11. I was like, fuck no, this sucks. I'm going to college, right? Because in my day, go to college, get a degree, get a good paying job, get benefits, work in a corporation, get your gold watch, retire, all that beautiful shit that is now a complete sham and lie to you guys, right? Okay. So that was my start, home building, and then I got into, I went to Mississippi State for engineering school, and I originally apparently checked some box that said civil, because I went in for a weekend to visit campus, basically to party and chase chicks on campus and drink as much beer as possible. But they had me filling out a schedule for the fall. And I was like, what are all these bullshit civil engineering classes? Like, I don't want to do this crap. And they're like, well, you said you wanted to be a civil engineer. And I was like, I'm in the wrong building. Where's the mechanical building? And I couldn't really decide what I wanted to do. And that's why I picked mechanical engineering, because ME is kind of a jack of all trades of everything, right? I can do structural, I can do mechanical, I can do automotive, I can do aircraft, I can do piping, pressure vessels, and all that other boring shit, right? All right, let's keep the story going. So I'm in engineering school. I start co-oping, and most of my jobs are automation and plant work. So working in manufacturing plants. I'm famous for shutting an entire manufacturing plant down as an intern. I was working in plating and heat treating. I had no idea what the hell I was doing because I sucked at chemistry. I completely effed up my titrations. I had them put a bunch of chemicals in a vat that didn't need it, and we shut the whole plant down, and 200 people went home for a couple of days while they fixed it. And the cool thing is it was funny because I was an intern. Had I been a full-time engineer, I'd have had my shit in a box and probably been fired, but everybody thought that was hilarious. But anyway, I did that for a while. I worked, built automated equipment. We built a massive manufacturing center in Hattiesburg, Mississippi for Sunbeam Household Products, put in all the lines, all the equipment, and then they decided, well, let's move all that shit to Mexico. So then we also moved all the stuff, and I went down to Mexico a bunch, into Acuña and just across into the border towns and helped put all that stuff in, right? I was finishing up my degree, and I'm Gen X. There's not any of us. There were very, very few of us. We all had 12, 14, 15 job offers when we finished school because there weren't any of us. And I'm looking at all these job offers, and some of them are pretty cool. And one of my senior professors calls me to his office. And he sits me down. I was in his senior design class. He goes, hey, I just wanted to talk about this project you did. I had built a simulation of a transmission in MathCAD. And he goes, I'm in awe. It's amazing. You've literally built a go, no-go gauge of how to design a transmission. And the cool part is your initial premise is so wrong that it will kill everyone that comes in contact with what you've created. He goes, but I am impressed. I want you to come work for me in grad school. I'll pay your way. I'll give you money. You hang out with your girlfriend. You go to football games. You go to baseball games. You have a good time. I'm like, I'm in. So at the time, a friend of mine was in the co-op department. She ran the co-op department, and she knew me because I had broken her whole system when I came through as a freshman and found a little loophole where I could get interviews, and they had to fix all that. But anyway, she told me, you're making a huge fucking mistake. She goes, you will regret this going to grad school. And I'm like, why? She goes, oh, none of these jobs will be here in a year. I'm like, you're crazy. Like, there's none of us. So anyway, I went to grad school, got out, had all 14 of those job offers again, plus another 14, which I went back and showed her. But anyway, at the time I finished grad school, and I thought, the more education you get, the dumber you learn that you actually are, right? So I finished grad school, and I'm like, I'm literally the stupidest person on earth. Like, if I don't get my PhD, there's no way I'll know how to do anything. So I got to looking for 2 jobs in different areas. And I had an offer in Huntsville, and I had a professor at University of Huntsville, Alabama at Huntsville, that I could go and get my PhD with while I worked ground control for the space station. And then I got an offer in Atlanta for Lockheed, and I got a set up at Georgia Tech where I could go into their PhD program. Okay, here's a cool story for you. I decided, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna take this Lockheed job because it's a big plant and it looks kind of boring. Atlanta's kind of cool, but it's a long way off, and I liked Huntsville. So I called and turned down the job on a Friday. And it hit me, wait a minute, I need to do a little more research. So I started making some calls, and we had like 6 or 8 pages on the internet at the time, right? We had just gotten Netscape, so you could actually see pictures and stuff. So anyway, I'm doing some research, and I realized, wait a minute, I just made a major mistake. The university in Huntsville was all rockets and cryogenics and space shit. Wait a minute, I don't want to do that. Georgia Tech was design and analysis and all kinds of cool mechanical products. I'm like, that's what I want to do. So I'm like, oh crap, I just made a huge mistake. Well, I went to call the guy back. Well, it was like 6 p.m. Central in Mississippi. He's already gone for the day. So what did I do all weekend? Stressed my ass off, right? Oh my God, I made a huge mistake. So I got up at 4 a.m. on Monday and started calling the guy. And there were no answering machines or anything at the time. So literally I would let the phone ring like 29, 30 times. And finally about 6:30 in the morning, he picked up. And I was like, hey, it's Zane. You don't still have that job laying around, do you? He's like, yeah, I haven't turned it in. You want to come? I was like, yeah, I'll take it. That's how I got to Atlanta. I was a stress engineer on the C5, doing really cool shit on a really cool plane in a really boring office that took way too long, right? I got in and I got my project. It was something on the ramp of the C5, really cool aircraft. I don't know if any of you guys are aircraft bums. I am. I've got my pilot's license, all that kind of stuff. I love aircraft. But anyway, I got to looking at the project, and I went to my boss. I said, hey, I think I can get all this done in about 4 months. He's like, no, it's going to take 18. I was like, no, man, I'm going to do this. Take me about 4 months. He goes, stretch it out. I was like, shit. I just realized I took the wrong gig. That's not me. I grew up in construction. I grew up in automation. I grew up fast paced. I'm a business guy. I hustled pool. I ran football books. You know, I'm constantly in motion, always doing things. Oh crap, I just realized I made a mistake. Okay, well now I'm at a turning point in my life, right? Luckily, my girlfriend that I thought I was gonna marry at the time decided to break up with me. I had just moved to Atlanta. My parents had just gotten divorced. I didn't know a damn soul here, right? The only way you could meet girls at the time was to drive to Buckhead. I didn't know that. I bought a house in Woodstock, right? Okay. cab ride from Buckhead to Woodstock was 120 bucks at the time, right? So suddenly here I am in a town where I don't like my job, I don't like what I'm doing, I don't know a damn soul. Now what am I going to do? Right? What would you guys do?
And we'll cry.
Be fucking depressed, right? Sit around at 4 in the morning trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life. Game till like 8 a.m. and then go to work and sit in an office that you don't like, right? Right? For me, it was a really low point because from the age of about 4 to this day at Lockheed, I had carried a pocket knife with me. And I was looking up on the internet which way to cut to end my life. And I decided I will never carry a pocket knife again, which I never have. And I'm about to do something different with my life. So that's where the change took place. I had a buddy come by, he said, hey, there's an engineering company down the street looking for people. And to date myself, I faxed my resume over to them. I went on an interview that afternoon and I took the job the next day and I got the fuck out of Lockheed. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. I've been working in consulting. I eventually got my PE. I eventually ended up with my own company and that's what I do now. So there's the long story. Well, let's talk about you guys. What can I do to help you? What are your big obstacles right now? What's kicking your ass?
I have a question. Would you say falling from FE to BE, is that worth it in all industry or in certain ones?
All right, great question. So you need to take the FE while you're in school, right? Do we require it here at KSU yet?
No.
Georgia Tech requires you to pass it, I think. Some schools require you to take it. 100% take it before you get out of here. Actually, your junior year is a great time to take it, right? For anybody that you know, right? FE. Make sure you take the test now because like I have staff members that didn't and you know, it's 4 or 5 years later and they want to get their PE and they got to go back and learn fucking chemistry and triple integrals and all this stupid crap that they haven't seen in 5 years. So 100% do it right now and get it out of the way. You get to put the cool EIT that nobody knows what the hell that means at the end of your name. Like, what do you mean you're in training? You just got a degree. It's stupid, right? But anyway, you put that at the end of your name. Go on and get that out of the way. Now you have the option, okay?
Right.
Now, should I get my stamp? Well, good question. What is it you want to do, okay? For me, massive advantage. I knew that one day I wanted to go back and teach. When I was in school, I had a professor that was so bad and so terrible that I decided that day, one day I would teach, just to make up for how shitty he was. Like Dr. Agba, thank you. Dude was awful, and I decided I wanted to teach, so I got to looking at the path. Well, what do I need? Well, master's degree will help me, let me teach. I don't have to have my PhD, right? Probably need to be known in the industry. Oh, wait a minute, I could get my stamp, I could get my PE, I could work in consulting, I could make connections and do those kind of things. Here's the cool part about it, okay? It comes at the perfect time in your career. So you've been out of school 4 or 5 years, you've been working, but have you really been working on engineering, right? You've probably gotten into the habit, maybe you're a project manager and you're kind of just shuffling emails and things back and forth, and maybe you've forgotten some of your engineering. It's a great time to go back and refresh yourself, right? Because you have to study really fucking hard for like a year to take the test. It's not easy. You also have to build out all your connections to get your references, which is a great time to go back to all those people you've worked with and talk to them one more time, right? Hey, would you be a reference for me for the PE? Oh, hey, what's been going on? Oh, cool, maybe you find a different job, right? Maybe you make another connection, maybe you get something else that's going on. The other thing is coming back and refreshing yourself on how to be an engineer. Now you've seen it, right? Now it actually means something to you. And how many of you guys interned or co-opted? When you came back to class the next time, was it a little different? Did it mean a little bit more? Did you understand the context of what was going on? Now you could really learn a little bit more, and that's kind of the big part of it. Now you're going back through and you're really learning engineering, but you've done it. So now it makes sense to you. Now you understand it. Now you can find all those shortcuts and little things that you need to put on the wall in your office so that you can do things faster. And then finally you get the stamp at the end of your name, right? It's really hard to argue with me when I come in and throw my card down with a PE on it, right? I can talk about engineering all day long, dude. I'm a professional engineer in 40-something states. What you got, right? So it's kind of like the stamp of approval on your career. Because if you can pass that test and do all that information and have all that experience, you're probably pretty knowledgeable in the craft, right? That makes sense? I mean, if we had that in a lot of other industries, wouldn't you trust those people more? It's like a CPA in accounting. It's like actually getting your license to practice as a lawyer. It's the same thing. I highly, highly encourage it. If any of you guys are thinking about it when you get there, hit me up if you need a reference. I'll help you find people, right? I highly encourage you to do the NCEES. I think it's required in most states, where you build out your record and you put all your information in there. It's a great way to be able to pull your resume and update your LinkedIn also. Because once a year, they're going to ping you and say, what have you been doing? We'll rewrite it. We'll make it make more sense. We'll write it this way. And it's a great way to update your whole career. You also have to do continuing education, which is kind of the final piece of the puzzle. I'm registered in 40-something states, and every state's different, right? But the least common multiple is I'm required every year to take 15 hours of training and 1 hour of ethics. Okay, well, compare me to someone that doesn't do that every year. I'm taking classroom training, 15 hours every single year. You're doing nothing. You're just working your job. I got you, right? Okay, highly encouraged, nothing to it. The other thing is, at the point when you get your stamp, if you hate your fucking job, I'll help you start your own business, right? I need tons of you guys, and we have tons of them as vendors. We're actually doing a live event, probably won't be later this year, probably be in the spring, but we're gonna have one of my old guys who started his own company teaching you over the course of a day how to build your own engineering company. And then at the end, my company is gonna offer you a bunch of jobs and things to do. Cool, so it's another way you can make extra income. You can do a lot of different things with it. It also will make you set up your finances better, because technically you could be personally sued for screwing things up. So try not to have a significant other that is also an engineer that's licensed. Or in my case, in my first marriage, was a pharmacist. We had that problem, so we had to figure out how to hide our money from getting sued. That's a whole nother story. All right, what else?
About like internships and like co-ops. So would you say there is a big difference between those two things in industry and in practice?
It's going to depend on the school. A lot of co-op programs require you to do a certain number of semesters. Here's how I broach this with all of our co-ops, and I was told this when I first started as a co-op. Do you know what co-op is? It is the sound a cow patty makes when it hits the ground. Co-op, right? That way he immediately told me where I was in the pecking order, right? You're literally the lowest form of life either way. Co-op, intern, whatever it is, right? And embrace that fully wherever it is you go, right? I wouldn't worry too much about one or the other. Do whatever's best for you is the answer to the question. You're gonna have some people like, oh, you gotta co-op and do the 3 semesters and get the stupid little ribbon when you graduate. Nobody gives a shit about that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know, maybe you need the little piece of paper saying you went through the co-op program. I don't even know where mine is, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. More importantly is, what is the experience and what's it doing for you, and where do you want to go, right? If you want to do something, you really want to go try it first, right? Like each of you guys that's thinking about MET, if you haven't worked and done that job as an intern or a co-op, how do you know? Because the worst thing in the world is to see somebody finish a 4 or 5 or 6 year degree and get out there and work and fucking hate their job, right? Now what are they going to do? They got $2 billion in student loans to be an accountant and they hate accounting. They probably should have figured that out before then, right? Did that answer your question? Co-op, intern, I wouldn't worry about it. Just get the experience. More importantly is, who are you working for and who are you working with? Make sure your boss doesn't suck. Make sure your coworkers are cool. My first co-op, hey, here's a whole department to run. Great. Could you tell me where the hell it is and what the hell it even is? I was actually sitting in a huge meeting with like 40 people at a table, and the plant manager was yelling at me about the plating and heat treating department and some machine. And I raised my hand, which everybody laughed at. And the angry plant manager says, what? And I said, sir, if you'll tell me what that is and about where the hell it is in the plant and give me a little bit, I'll go figure it out. And he was like, I like you. And we were friends from that day forward, right? So yeah, go out, co-op, intern, break things, mess things up so bad they name it after you, right? Like, hey, we don't want to Brittany this, you know what I mean? Right, that's what you want to do. You want to go out and make your mistakes. Back to what I was saying a minute ago, I shut a whole plant down. Do you think I learned how to not do something in the future? Yeah, 100%, right? And it's a great story. All the guys I used to work with, every once in a while, I'll get a message on LinkedIn, hey, you shut the fucking plant down. Like, shut up, you're old, you're about to die. All right, what else you got?
Where, I think I missed this. Where was the plant that you worked at?
I'm not telling you. You gonna go back and fact check me? I broke the co-op program, and I ended up getting into a bunch of interviews I wasn't supposed to be able to, because I was technically still a freshman, but I had found a way around it in the terrible system they had, and they fixed it after me. But anyway, so I interviewed all these places, and they wanted to hire me, but they couldn't because I didn't have the classification that they were hiring. Okay, so after that, the co-op lady, she liked what I had done and my aggressiveness and kind of felt sorry for me. So she called me, she goes, hey, I got this company coming by to interview. I can't find anybody. Would you like to jump in? I'm like, sure. So I showed up, I had the interview. And the very last question they asked me was, do you have any questions? Well, I knew that they were in Columbus, which was about a 15 to 20 minute drive if you drove 100 miles an hour. Because I had done it many times going to a bar in Columbus and then driving back to campus, right? So anyway, I knew they were right down the street, and I knew they were paying pretty good, and I knew it was a manufacturing plant. So my last question was, can I ride back with you guys and get started? Interestingly, my boss told me that's the reason they hired me. Like, he wasn't qualified, had no idea what the fuck he was doing. He'd worked in construction, but they liked the question. So they ended up hiring me. I ended up going to work that Christmas and got paid ass tons of money to sit around and not do much over the Christmas break, which was pretty cool. The engineers were mad at me because as a co-op, there was some loophole where I got paid and they were on salary and I was hourly. So I would get paid pay plus overtime, and then if it was a holiday, we got double time. So there were some days I was getting 4x what they were making, which was pretty cool. And then I had an engineer in the plant who every single day he would come to me and he would give me $5 for my badge because it said, you know, co-op. And he would trade me for his badge, and then he didn't have to answer questions all day long. So I made $5 a day just being the engineer. Pretty cool, right? All right, what else you got?
I have a question. So during the story, you said that between the two companies, you were planning to do also the PhD, which is something that the other companies also help you out. Like, for example, this company that's talking to you, they offer tuition reimbursement, which is good for a master's degree, but when would you start doing it? Because if I was gonna do it, I wouldn't be working and doing it at the same time, because I want to get...
Yeah, it's super important, right? Okay, so back to my co-op job I had. My second semester, I worked with a guy that had been working on his master's at night for 4 years. Okay, when I met him, I was a second semester sophomore. He and I walked together to get our master's degree. Yeah, and only because I drove out to his house in the middle of nowhere, Mississippi, with his wife and made him finish his last project so he could walk with me. That's the only reason he ever got it, right? The problem is that shit will take forever, right? Where are you gonna find an extra 5 to 6 hours a day when you're working and got 2 kids and a wife and trying to do something else in your life, right? So if you're thinking about a master's degree, now's the time. Because you can probably get a job with a professor who has money from a project that will pay you, pay for school, give you a stipend, and you can knock that shit out in about a year and a half, versus drag it out for the rest of your life, right? You need 33 hours plus a project. That's 11 classes. If you can only take one a semester, that's a long time, right? So that's something to think about. Some people also ask me, should I get a master's? Do you guys have that same question? Okay. You know you don't want one, right?
Oh, no,
you just want to wire some shit and get paid
I just
$22 an
I
hour.
just want to ask the question because I know that I want to get an master's.
Why? How do you know?
I know because everybody that's told me when they got their master's, they didn't regret getting it. And they also told me to take it right after school, but then I said to them, oh man, I really want to go into industry. And then they said, that's what I thought, and that was a mistake.
It kind of depends. So there's a shit ton of people that stayed to get their master's during the COVID fiasco because there weren't any jobs. Okay, right now there's too many jobs. So you might be dumb to stay. I think we're about to be on a 10 to 12 year boom. So this might be the right time to do both or get paid something. Maybe you could work out where you go in and work a year and then you go back to school full time. I've seen that done with some people. They go back for a full semester, take 3 or 4 classes, and they come back to work for a while, and then they go back and forth, that kind of thing. And they take classes that are kind of specific to what they're doing. But back to the original idea of what I was saying here. Your undergrad, you're going to get all these cool tools, right? And you have no fucking idea how to use them, right? In a master's degree, you get really good at using a select group of those tools, okay? So I finished my undergrad in mechanical. I did my master's degree in mechanical, but I focused stress analysis, bolts, welds, mechanical design. I got really, really, really good at it, right? Master's level, right? So the thing is, to decide if you want to stay for your master's degree, as you're finishing up your senior year, if you're still on campus all night, if you're in the professor's office, if you can't stop and put it down, if you feel like there's just more you need to know, you need to look into it. If you got bills, you're ready to get the fuck out of here, you hate walking in class more than anything on earth, it's time to go. Get on out, work for a little while, and then figure out what you want to do. You might want to come back later, and that's okay. Either way, if you do think about doing a grad degree, here's what my professor suggested to me. Most places you can go online to the library and pull old theses, right? You should be able to do that. Now you guys can search it from your home. We used to have to go dig through a dusty library. But what you do is you find 10, 15 theses that you're really interested in, that excite you, and then look at the names on them. And if the same professor comes up 3 or 4 times, that's who you need to go work for, right? Go talk to them. What projects you got coming up? Now you do have to be careful. Like at Georgia Tech, professor might have 20 grad students and you may not be the most important. My professor at State, there were 5 of us. And so we're a really close-knit group and we really got a lot of time with him and learned a lot, right? So those are things you got to think about. But do look, because you can get paid, you can get all your school paid for. Like they get projects dumped on them, right? Like Boeing might give the school $2 million to figure this project out, and you're a small part of that, right? You're doing the research and the testing and writing up the report and all that kind of stuff. So the university gets paid, and then they can pay for you to do that. You can be an RA or a TA, a research assistant or a teaching assistant, right? I actually did a hybrid. I did a little bit of both. I taught some of my professors' classes and labs, and then I also did a bunch of research and projects for him. But that's something, it's another thing to, if you feel like you didn't learn enough and you feel stupider now than you did when you first started, it's time to go look for your master's degree. Highly, highly recommend it. It will never hurt you. If you had an MET with a master's in mechanical engineering, everybody's hiring you, right? I'll hire you, I don't even need you, right? Let's put you in the corner somewhere and figure out what the hell to do with you, right? I mean, that would be pretty powerful, right? And again, I also want you guys to think about, because the world has changed, you don't even necessarily need a degree anymore. I hope you guys understand that. I used to teach lab here, and the first question I was asked is, why are you here? Well, I want to make money. Well, then you need to get into OnlyFans or porn or something else, right? Because that's where the money is. Oh, well, wait a minute. No, I want to do such and such. I want to program. Well, you can get a job programming tonight. Like, why are you here? Why are you getting a degree? Is it because your mom said you should have a degree? And your aunt said you should have a degree? Your grandmother said you should have a degree? Are they who you want to be? Does that make sense what I just said right there? Right? The advice you're getting, always qualify it with who they are and where that advice is coming from, right? Because you want to get financial advice, poor people will give you shit tons of financial advice. Should you use any of it? You should ignore every bit of it, right? So again, if your mom's telling you something, you also have to think about what was her life like and what did it mean back then. See, in my day, you got your degree. It actually set you apart from somebody. Nowadays, all of you have degrees. Doesn't mean shit. You might actually be smarter to get really good at programming this particular controller that pays a whole lot of money, and you go do that. Does that make sense? So one of the things I was looking for when I went for a job was culture fit, right? Because I knew I could make money. I've hustled, pulled, you know, I've bought and sold shit. I always have money. I've never starved, right? I've been in bad spots, and I've watered down cans of soup to get a second meal out of them, but it wasn't for long, right? So I never really worried about it. For me, culture and what they were doing and whether I liked the people I was working with and whether I was going to learn something were what was important, right? So your questions need to center around what's important to you. For me, that was it. So at the end of the interview, I would ask them, what makes you get up and come in here every day? Can you imagine some of the answers I got? One of the best one was in a plant in the middle of damn nowhere, Mississippi, over in Yazoo City, I think it was. I asked the lady this, and she goes, I'm fucking quitting this place. This is the shittiest company I've ever been around in my life. Never fucking work here ever. Probably needed to know that, right? I actually was going to take the job. I thought it was the coolest thing ever on earth. And she was pretty clear. It was not the coolest thing ever. It was all a shim show. So that helped me a lot. Those are the kind of questions I think you should ask. Don't ask the canned bullshit, stupid questions that everybody else asks. Those mean nothing, okay? Right? Ask them for you. Does that make sense what I just said? At the end of the interview, they're asking you that for you, not for them. You're not trying to impress them anymore, right? I also want you to think about something. If they got you in for the interview, you've already got the job unless you lose it. You guys understand that, right? We're going to bring you in for, except for you tech guys, we'll just roll you fuckers through one after the other, see who shows up and passes the drug test, right? Right? But actually the valuable people, the engineer, no, I'm messing with you guys. Right?
There's like 1,500 MEs here. There are only 400 METs here.
There's a reason for that.
Because when KSU took over, the MET department got,
A lot of it has to do with the fact that very few people know what an MET is.
Correct. because every other school, including I actually took classes in the department at the University of Southern Mississippi, fucked it up. They claimed, oh, we're better, we'll make you both, and they gave you neither. They gave you no theory and gave you no lab time. That's not cool, right? The IT's got all the lab time and the ME's got all the theory, and they dump nothing on the guys in the middle. So again, it got blackballed for a long time. It flared up when I was finishing school, and between then and now, there was a huge period when no one would hire an MET because they knew how fucking useless they were. The only place you could get one was Southern Poly. It was the only school that did it right. And they hosed it. Because if they had been smart, they would have been the opposite of Georgia Tech, and this place would be 4 times as big as it was. But what did they try to offer it as? We're just as good as Georgia Tech. Fuck Georgia Tech. They can't do anything we do. We have better labs than they do now, right? We have much better lab and lab space here. You can get a heck of a lot better education in mechatronics. It's the only mechatronics department in the country, right? Why aren't we pumping that and getting that going? No idea. They don't bring me in on the marketing. They really should, right?
I was just considering, hey, I'm in physics currently, and currently looking at maybe different career opportunities and jobs, considering physics, while letting this have some benefits, it's not as opportunistic as it doesn't have as many opportunities as engineering may just do, and decided to just hear what kind of.
What do you want to do?
To be honest.
Does anybody here actually know what they want to do? 3 people. 4.
Somewhat. I mean, I've gone to a few jobs for bringing up physics, and I'm currently developing kind of an interest in economics. But I'm thinking that I want to do something that involves something involving my interest in economics combined with an interest in science.
But what's your outcome? Like, what do you want out of this? Okay. This will go down a nice little mindset path first for a little while, right? Like, it's back to the why are you here? Like, what's your actual outcome? Oh, I just need to get a job. You could have already had a job.
Yeah.
Oh, I just need to make money. You can do OnlyFans. Oh, I want to do, like, what is it you actually, what's your outcome and what do you want to do?
I want to get a useful Bachelor of Science, particularly along with.
What do you want to do? Is there anything that interests you? Like, when I say this subject, you go, oh, that's cool, let's talk about it. I want to do that. Anything?
Well,
and it's okay if you don't.
I don't have immediate interest. I have interest on my mind, but I don't have one related to a job as of currently right now.
Have you worked anywhere or done anything?
I actually
What's up, young man?
I'm applied to Chick-fil-A here actually, and I'm working.
Okay. And you want to work at Chick-fil-A the rest of your life, or you want to run a Chick-fil-A, or you want to?
No, I'm just.
Okay.
This is a job for money currently Chick-fil-A. What I want to do is.
So you've got to get a little more targeted in what the hell it is I want to do. Okay. And you may not know, and that's okay. You guys get that, right? It's okay to have no idea what the hell you want to do. I still don't know what the hell I want to do. I'm really old, right? Okay? But you do need a rough direction. Well, what if I don't have a rough direction? Well, that's bullshit. I think if I sat down with you for 20 minutes and we brainstormed, you'd probably come up with 2 or 3 themes, right? What's a theme in your life? You said physics, economics, and what else?
Physics, economics, and as weird as it is, writing. That's something I mentioned.
Okay. So we could write economic papers about the physics industry, right? Okay, go fucking do that tonight. Go look it up. Who does that? Is that even a thing, right? Who had heard of mechatronics until they heard of mechatronics? Nobody, right? There might be a career perfect for you and they might need a job now without you having to finish your degree. What if you could start now? You feeling me?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
If there's anything that interests you even remotely, go try it, right? Sword fighting, take the class. Get your pilot's license. Go fly the plane on the free day when they have everybody go up. Go check it out and see if it resonates, right?
Yeah.
If it resonates, do a little bit more. And at some point, you're going to get down that hall and go, oh, this is the wrong path. Now what do you do? Just go back to the last inflection point and start over. Life's not over. You don't have to keep doing that shit. You're not trapped. You don't have to be an accountant or an MET for the rest of your life. You can do whatever the hell you want. Now, for a short time, you might have to do what you don't want. Because we got to pay some bills, we got to get some shit done, right? And if you got kids, you got a lot more responsibilities, right? Okay, but you still can find a path to do what it is you want to do, right? For me, what do I want to do? I want to help people like you. So what do I need to do? I need to make a shit ton of money and have a job that doesn't require me to be there. Done. Now I can help people. Got me? So challenge yourself and get all your buddies involved as well. Like, hey, if you were going to put me doing something, what would you do? And they might tell you something completely off the wall that you go try it and it's awesome. right? Hey, you should be a professional soccer player. You're like, well, I hadn't thought of that, but I'll go try it. Got me? So that's what you need to do for the next little while. Where are you at in school? Sophomore, junior?
I'm currently junior.
Okay, but you're a junior in some bullshit major and you don't know what you want to do. So you're really kind of like a sophomore, right?
Yeah.
Because wherever you go, you got to kind of start over in the junior year. Okay. So now you just got to go try some shit, right? Get your buddies together, not your family. Definitely not mom and dad. Not your grandma, not your uncle that's broke as hell, like none of them, right? Get your buddies that know you, know what you like, and all these kind of things, and talk about, hey, what can I do? How do I create value? Ask that question. How do I provide some value to the world? What's something you can do that helps people? And then you can make a ton of money. If you provide value, you'll never want for anything. That'll be on TikTok at some point. You guys can check it out.
What creates an effective leader?
What creates an effective leader?
What do you think it defines a good leader?
Awesome question. The most important thing is the understanding that you don't have to be in charge to lead. That's basically it, right? I don't need a title. I don't need to be the district manager. I don't need some bullshit office. You can lead from anywhere, right? You can lead, inspire, help, all these kind of things. Sometimes you can lead from the back. For me, my whole company is built around me being the president as a servant leader. I'm not even in charge. I help my people be amazing, right? That's how I've built my company. So also leadership's different in each spot, right? If someone attacked us out there and somebody started shooting on campus, one of us would step forward as a leader to get us out of the room and get us to safety, right? That's a whole different style of leadership that's needed from, hey, let's figure out what he wants to do the rest of his life, right? So leadership is within the moment what it needs to be, right? Comes back to what is the goal and what is it you're trying to do, and then helping people inspire them to get to do that. That to me is kind of the definition. The main one being you don't need to be in charge. Some of the most effective leaders on earth are not in charge. They choose not to be. Like me, I could do better having Freddie be the figurehead because then he is the jerk and I can just come around and come up with the ideas, right? Make sense? On the flip side, within my company, I'm often the backstop for my people. I'll step in and tell the client they're being an asshole and we're not going to do that. And then they get to be the cool person that helps out, right? I'm cool enough to do whatever's needed, right? To solve the end problem and provide the end value. That's a great question. I like that one. Why did you ask that question?
So I just want to learn, I want to see how I could improve and the organizations that I help lead, initiatives that I'm setting forth.
Do you feel you're a leader now?
No, I still feel like I'm learning.
That means you're a leader, right? Anyone that understands their own fallacies and doesn't think they're qualified to lead is probably the most qualified among us, right? If you think you know everything, don't be a fucking leader, dude. Nah, we've all dealt with them, right? Yeah, you laughing. Yes?
So it's more about, so being a leader is more of a versatility than it is actually trying to have a fixed position of authority.
Well, let's think about it. So what do we normally see as leaders? They're in charge, they're leading us to go somewhere, they're rallying us to a cause, they're getting all the pieces to fit together, they're working and massaging the emotions, the psyches, you know, the attitudes and all that kind of stuff, getting everybody to work together. To me, they're kind of like the ultimate problem solver. They're doing it with human capital instead of, like as engineers, we might solve something with mechanical capital. Civils might do it with structural capital. Leaders might do it with human capital, which is the hardest damn machine to get it to do what you want, right? Yeah. Especially if it's female, right? Now my wife is gonna like that comment. Even she's like, "Dear Lord, how do you deal with me?" I'm like,
Something that really stuck to me when I first came here at Kennesaw was Freddie, when you were president of SHOP, you mentioned that leaders create leaders. And that really stuck.
100%. That's the final piece of the puzzle, is what are you going to give back, right? And I charge you guys with this because all the people coming behind you need you. And if you had had someone there for you, what would your life have been like? Did you hear what I just said? What if somebody had been there for you 2 years ago when you really needed to hear some of the things I'm saying right now, right? You need to be that person for the next person down. Well, nobody did it for me. Quit being fucking selfish, dude. Like, go help people, right? If someone hadn't been selfish before, you would have had somebody to help you, right? Like, create the new chain. Break the old chain and create the new one. The new chain is we all help each other and we help the person coming behind us. I created that culture over in mechatronics. We had a freshman post on the Discord one night that he was lost and didn't know what he was going to do in his life, and he really was thinking about just being done with it. And within 20 minutes, people were taking him out for tacos. Like, I got you. I've been there. I was you 2 years ago. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was lost in what, right? That's what it's all about. We got to go back and help people. So yeah, 100% right. Leaders create the next ones they hand it off to. And for me, my goal in life used to be to change a life every day. Okay? I realized how pathetically small that goal was. Right? Now I create people who create people. Like I need to map one to many, not one to one. Like I got to help more of you that'll go out and help more people. So I like the line of questions. What are you going to do to help yourself be a better leader?
Learn from others and apply that understanding about what I learned from others to help others learn what they could apply for themselves, and then have them apply that to others as well.
100%. Be a follower of a really good leader, right? Learning how to follow is a great way to learn how to lead, right? Learning how to influence while not being in charge. Like challenge yourself to not take over a meeting, but still get the result. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to start 2 weeks ago, planting the seed in somebody's ear like Freddie, who will step up and actually say the thing that you know needs to be said, right?
Delegation is important.
That and who are you teaching to lead right now? Because you never learn anything until you teach it for the first time. And that's with everything that you do. Once you're really good at something, get a job teaching it or teach somebody else, right? I'm doing that. My son's a junior at Mississippi State in mechanical engineering. And my big thing with him is get your study groups together and then take turns teaching each other. One of you be the bolt guy, one of you be the weld guy, one of you be the whatever guy, and then y'all teach each other, because that's where you really learn stuff, is when you teach it for the first time, because then you get those questions, right?
So, you just made me think about this. What do you think of the phrase, small fish in a big pond versus big fish in a small pond?
All right, great question. And I'll allude to what your actual question is. The spot you guys probably want to be is not in the startup where no one knows anything and there's no money, and not in the big stupid corporation where you get to see the bolt you're working on and use the spreadsheet for that bolt. You want to be somewhere in the middle. Where you'd really like to be on the tech side is a spot that's doing well. Maybe they just got listed or just got Series A funding or got some private equity money. You look in LinkedIn and the engineering manager is like your age, which means they don't have any fucking body there that knows how to do anything, which means you have huge opportunity, and they have some technical skill and a great product, right? Those are the kind of things you should look for. You want to catch that growth curve of the company as it goes exponential. You'd love to be right there, because now you're associated with the next Tesla, the next whatever, right? All the people that originally went out to Tesla, now they can get hired anywhere, right? Because they went from nothing to, oh my God, that's awesome. Right? Same thing with SpaceX, right? You think everybody at SpaceX amazing? Probably not. There are probably like 10 dudes there that were amazing, right? But everybody else kind of rode those coattails, and now they can do whatever they want. So that's something to think about, is this getting me to where I want to get? It's back to the why are you doing this? What's your outcome? What is it you're trying to do? And make sure whatever you do fulfills that. Don't just take a job to check a box or make some money. Okay, you got me on that? Hopefully that's resonating with you guys. Don't just take a job to make some money. You can do other shit to make money. Like make sure it's further in your career. For me, I want you to think about that. So I worked at Lockheed. I made a lot of money. I had great benefits, and I didn't have to do anything. Many people would say that's an amazing job, right? I took a 30% pay cut to go work in an engineering consulting firm. And I went from working 3 hours a day to 12. And I went from I'm home all the time on weekends to I'm gone all the time. But I learned 10 years of shit in the 3 years I worked there, right? Because I was constantly doing stuff. It's where I got my PE license. It's where I took over massive projects. I led groups into paper mills and pharmaceutical plants. I would take 200 engineers and technicians in, and we would inspect the entire facility over a 5-day span, 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, and I led the whole thing, right? At one point in a company of 200 people, I was 25% of the profit. And I never would have done that if I'd sat at Lockheed and stayed for the money, right? I took the 20 and 30% pay cut to then take off, right? And everything that I learned there, I've used to build my own company.
What is your current occupation exactly?
I own and run an engineering company that's here in Atlanta, and I have people all over the world, or all over the country.
And what products do you produce exactly?
We don't. We get paid lots of money to do cool shit. So most of the time our product is our PE license or our stamp for something. We approve a building or a product or something that's going in. We've worked on everything from WrestleMania to flamethrowers, to we do shit tons of TV and movie work here in Atlanta because of all the work that came to Georgia. We're a big part of that. We do a lot of industrial work. We work in plants. We design structures. We do mezzanines. We make products. We put roofing panels on half the buildings here on campus. We do a lot of cool shit. If you had to summarize this for somebody, what would you say?
Well, I've been taking notes the entire time.
Okay. What's your most important note there? What would you give to somebody?
Well, I know some of the biggest notes is like actually actively go out and make your own path. Don't just wait around waiting for an answer. Just keep on going.
Thank you.
Sign up as much as you can. Like you were kind of bullying that guy earlier, saying go to the place, email.
Poor Freddie.
contact.
Freddie's going to be a killer because he doesn't, no just gets him closer to yes, right? No is an awesome word because then I don't have to come back over here and I can move to the next person, right? Maybe is bullshit because then you got to come back, right? Let's rebrand that. You are eager and can learn new skills immediately, right? You haven't been tainted by old things. Your inexperience is actually a feature instead of a negative, right? And your language is most important, right? Hey, you don't have to unlearn anything from me, right? You don't have to reteach me because I know some bullshit from another company. You can train me exactly how you want me to do stuff. That's a feature, right? And let's go into that for a minute. Each of you, if you hear nothing else tonight, give yourself some credit. Hear what I said? Give yourself some credit. Every morning, get up and think about what you're excited about that day, what you're looking forward to. Every evening, what were you thankful for? What was something cool, okay? Start and end your day in positivity. Don't be self-deprecating. It's bullshit. We don't need it anymore, okay? You're awesome. You're amazing. You know how to do stuff. Oh, well, what about all the things I don't know? See, there's the problem. As engineers, what do we look for? We're trained to look for the fault and the problem and fix it, right? And we turn that shit on ourselves, and now we don't get where we needed to get because we don't think we had experience or knew how to do it, right? Imposter syndrome is your biggest enemy right now, right? I'm up for argument on that fact. I'm up for thoughtful disagreement. I used to start every class here with what's killing you, and the answer was always imposter syndrome. Because you don't think you're good enough, right? Why? Why don't you think you're good enough? Who's better? Anybody in this room know how to do anything? Of course not. Are you going to figure it out? Sure, right? You got a great degree, great education, you're going to have great experience, you're going to go do great things, right? The only thing in your way is you, right? For you, you could spend 4 more years wallowing and I don't know what to do and that just sounds hard and I won't be able to get to do it. Or you can make the decision to figure out what you want to do and go do it right now. Like you're the only thing in the way of that, right? Same thing, you're going to take a job that's less exciting and less money because you don't believe in yourself or you're as good as other people. And you're probably 5 times the engineer they are. I'm up for thoughtful disagreement.
I also remember you're an officer of ASC on
Yeah.
campus, so remember that as well.
You've got connections, you know people, right? If you believe in yourself, others can believe in you. Okay?
As long as I actually take my own advice and actually get myself to do something.
When you take, watch your language. For you, Tony Robbins is the next thing you need to do. Okay? Write that down, Tony Robbins.
Who's Tony Robbins?
Wow, really? That's literally like asking who's Jesus or who, right? Tony Robbins is probably one of the most important, most influential people in the entire world. I challenge you to find me someone who has done more. Yeah, get your Tony Robbins on, okay? It's all about you understanding yourself, believing in yourself, creating the right mindset, getting out of your own way, changing your language, because that'll change your state and your emotion, and then that changes the actions that you take next, right? It's all about what happened and what does it mean to you. He's got a lot of good stuff. He's got 30 years of stuff. Just pull up YouTube and let it go, right? Tony Robbins, you got to believe in yourself. I can tell you right now, you have no confidence in your own ability, right? And that the thing is somebody's going to take advantage of that, right? I will see your skill set and I'll hire you and pay you half of what I will somebody else because you don't believe in yourself and you're not going to ask for any more, and I can take advantage of you. But you don't want that to happen. Who's got control of that? You do, right? You got to believe in yourself. You're a badass, right? What's your major?
MET.
And you have probably, what, a 5.6 GPA? You're crushing your classes, right? Do you have some work experience?
I do have a STEM and leadership background
Mhm.
from before college. But I am currently in part-time jobs that are nothing related to my major.
Well, sure they are. All jobs are related to your major. What's your job?
A nail salon. A nail salon.
You work in a nail salon. You deal in customer service. You lead and help people fulfill their beautiful achievement of their life, right? You deal with Karens all day long, right? That's a skill, right? Think about it. You're an MET, you're female, you have weird hair, you're a nerd, right? And you have experience. You're exactly what they want to hire, right? Hey, and here's the thing, find accountability partners, right? Find people that'll hold you to it, because you may not be able to do that for yourself. I have a buddy of mine, if he wants something done, I will get a drunk text, usually a WhatsApp in the middle of the night, and he'll go, if I don't have this done by this day at this time, I'll send you $10,000. Okay? One time he finished with 4 minutes left, and I was trying to sabotage him so I would get the $10,000, right? Find,
You had the Venmo request up.
oh, 100%. Oh, I would have just billed his company. I would have hit up his secretary and be like, yeah, he owes me 10 grand, and she would have sent me the check. No big deal. But yeah, whatever you got to do to make yourself do it. Yes?
So something that I used to fall victim to is, and it went both ways. I compared myself to others, like beneath and above. And so something I learned is you don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to your own self, like where you were before, where you are.
Yeah. Are you getting 0.5% better every day, right? That's it. Hey, yesterday I could do 1, now I can do 2. That's awesome. Give yourself some credit. Oh, I can only do a half of 1 today. Yeah, but my form's a little better, right? Give yourself some credit. Yeah, you're constantly in a battle against yourself. The problem is we've created a society that tells you the opposite, right? Because you guys scroll all day long and see all the cool shit other people are doing, and you're not doing cool shit, and your life isn't quite as it may. But does anybody post bad shit? Not really, right? They don't post the other half of their life.
But I've had people come up to me and they're like, oh, Splash, you're so good. I'm like, stop comparing yourself to me. Compare yourself to yourself. You're in a good position.
Sure.
Work towards where you want to be and be the best version of yourself. Don't compare yourself to
Well, now I will give a corollary to that. You need to pattern. You need to find people who are good at what it is you want to do and then look for the pattern. Like, hey, all the people who are experts in this field all went to this school. Well, then you probably should have gone to that school. All the people that did this first. Okay, I need to do that. Most, CEOs of massive companies were engineers, right? Something to think about. Pattern people. Who's doing what it is you want to do? It's also in the taking advice, right? Who am I taking advice from? Is it your grandmother that's broke as shit and she's giving you financial advice? Why in the hell would you listen to that, right? I usually start a financial talk I used to do on how many of you parents are millionaires, and nobody would raise their hand. I'd be like, why the fuck are you listening to what they have to say about finances, right? What's your dad do? He's an architect. Well, listen to him about architecture. Why would you listen to him about finances? Is he filthy rich? Does he have a big house? No, not really. Proof is in the results. So find people who are doing what you want to do and then pattern yourself after them. What do they do? Alex Hormozy is really good at that. He goes, finds the 5 or 10 people that do it exactly, and then he just does what they do. Oh, they ate at Chipotle, I'll eat at Chipotle. They walked to the left, I'll walk to the left, right? Because there's got to be something to that.
Let's see, question. I would say, so you have a mechanical engineering firm, is that correct?
No, we do all kinds of stuff. We're general engineering. A lot of mechanical, a lot of structural, some electrical. Basically, whatever somebody will pay us a lot of money for reviewing something.
What about civil?
Nah, civil's boring as shit. We don't do any of that. Civil's like a commodity. We can get that done in China for 1/3 the cost.
Why don't you
Dude, it's stormwater. Nobody cares.
stormwater?
Traffic signals, come on.
But do you guys do like AutoCAD or lots of
We try to do no drawings. Drawings are a commodity, so we try to stay out of that.
So you guys really just stamp papers all day? That's it?
Well, we review, do analysis, build models, do some FEA, run some calculations, check shit per code, use our experience, all that kind of stuff. And then we might farm out parts of it. We have vendors and things that'll do drawings and other stuff like that. We try not to do the low EHR or low effective hourly rate stuff. We try to do the high EHR stuff. So EHR, effective hourly rate. So like this meeting probably should be a really high EHR. You're going to get a lot of value out of this, right? This might save you $100,000 one day. That was probably worth the hour, right? Whereas going to the pottery class that you don't need, I don't know, what's it doing for you? I don't know. Got to ask yourself. You only have so many hours, right? How many do you have a week? Quick? Anybody? 168 hours, and you're giving up 2 of them. Is it giving you return? Is it getting you where you want? Is it getting you your outcome? Are you getting where you want to be? Right? You need to ask yourself that about everything you do of every hour. Right? You don't need as much mental time and balance right now in your life as you will later. So right now you should take advantage. If you're in school, you should be in school 24 hours a day. You should be in lab. You should be taking 18 credit hours. You should be getting all the intern jobs that you can. When you're at an intern job and your 5 o'clock hits and everybody leaves, you should be going out on the shop floor. You should be reading books and working in the lab and staying all night, right? Because that's your opportunity in those 4 or 5 years to be around that stuff as much as possible. Get 10 years of experience in 1 year, right? Don't be the person that comes to interview with me that has 10 years of 1 year of experience. Oh, I've been doing this for 10 years. You've been doing exactly the same thing for 10 years. So you have 1 year of experience 10 times. Don't be that person, right? Take advantage of wherever you're at. If you have the opportunity to speak to somebody like me, why would you go play pickleball? You can do that any other day. I'm only here 1 moment, right? Take advantage of it. Same thing in your jobs, your school, your education. If you get the quality professor, skip the next class and go to lunch with him. You know what I mean? That's your opportunity to take advantage of it.
Well, I want to get your card first, if that's okay.
You can have cards, take pictures, whatever you want to do. You guys hit me up on YouTube, Zane Engineer's Life, TikTok, IG. It's all out there. We'll start doing some classes and things like that. I'll probably write a book or 2 before my life is done. Help me get the word out, right? Help me get those couple of thousand subscribers. Hit me up if you're lost and you got no idea. If you haven't already connected with me on LinkedIn, I'm super fucking disappointed, right? It means you're not taking advantage of an opportunity. If you're not going to get a group of METs together to argue with me, I'm super disappointed, right? You guys should have me for tacos one night and be like, all right, try that again. There's 20 of us now, right?
I often hear the term work-life balance used a lot. What are your thoughts about work-life balance, especially early on?
So that's what we were just talking about. And I had this same call with a bunch of kids from a college in Kansas last night, and they asked the same question. Okay, the spirit of that and your wheel of life, it's another Tony Robbins thing, by the way, the wheel of life. Your wheel needs to be balanced in your life, but at the moment it doesn't have to be balanced, right? If you're at jiu-jitsu practice, you probably don't need to do yoga or get something to eat. You need to focus on your jiu-jitsu, right? Wherever you're at and whatever season you are in your life, you might need hyper-focus and ignore everything else, right? Like if you have a major project due, you're going to work 24 hours. You're going to tell your family, I'll see you in a couple of days, and you're going to focus, right? Does that mean you're unbalanced? No. Now, if you did that 24 hours a day for the next 3 years, we would question your balance, right? If you missed all of your kids' birthdays, you probably don't have balance in your life. And unless you made $1 billion, was it really worth it? Okay? So the point is, and this is what I was really hammering one of the kids, because he's a slacker, and I knew him. Like I had talked to him a couple times before, he's a slacker. So he's trying to use it as an excuse not to work hard. Oh, I need balance, so I'm gonna go play volleyball. No, you need to be fucking studying because you don't have a 4.0, right? If you use it as an excuse to not work hard, then it is extremely, extremely deadly to you, okay? If you use it to build out your life and all that you're doing so that you're the best in all of the areas at all of the times, then you're doing it right, okay? I can be a really good dad because I'm not worried about money, because I built a good business and I made sure my finances were straight. The other section of the puzzle is I've got to make sure I'm healthy so that I can go run around with them and do stuff, right? I got to be in balance with all of those things. But within that one moment, like right now while you guys are in school, that's all you should be doing. Oh, I got to work a job. Find some other way to do it. Like, don't focus on school. Take your 18 hours, hang out with the professors, stay in their offices. This is the only chance you have to talk to brilliant PhDs. Why would you not talk to them all day, every day? How many of you talk to your professor today for more than 10 seconds? What about the rest of you? What the fuck are y'all doing? Why are you working?
Because it's my full-time job.
Are you just doing school, nights, weekends, and stuff like that?
No, it's a job that I'm going to be doing when I graduate. So I'm taking 3 classes and then I'm done in December.
Okay.
So.
Well, why wouldn't you take advantage of learning all you can for that job?
I am.
Okay. Was you going to talk to any of your professors today?
No, because I wasn't here.
So you had no classes today?
Mm.
Tomorrow do you have class?
No, on Monday and Tuesday.
Okay, what are you gonna do on Monday? You're gonna talk to your professor?
Yep.
All right, there we go. We got it. Super important. Take advantage of all the things that are around you, right? Get people together, ask questions, do stuff, right? Take the professor to lunch. That's a huge thing for you guys when you guys get your jobs. Bunch out there on YouTube where I repeat this in a much better fashion. Here's a huge tip for you guys. Walk around, search the company directory, look on LinkedIn, look at job titles, listen to who's getting shit done. Think about who the power players are. Who's the people that know how to really do stuff? If you want to learn how to wire a control panel, who's the best guy at it, okay? Then go see them. Hey, I'm Zane. I just started here. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. I'm probably burning your time. I apologize greatly. I have one question for you. At some point in the next 2 weeks, could I take you to lunch and buy lunch in exchange for you answering one question? No good engineer said no to that. Now, notice how I worded it. And this is from experience. Because I used to say, hey, I'm going to buy lunch in exchange for asking you one question. And then I took this extremely brilliant Chinese engineer to lunch one day and I asked him the question and he sat there. And he said, you didn't say I had to answer the question. I was like, shit. So I had to buy him a second lunch to get him to answer the question. Okay? So that's why I say it the way I do now, in exchange for answering one question. And then just make it a really good question, right? Same thing with your professors. Take them to lunch. Hey, what are you doing, prof? I got you. Come on, I'll take you down the street and then just talk about stuff, right? Does that make sense? Because now's your chance to talk to them and have exchange with them and make connections with them. You need them later. You really do. Because you're going to have some project you don't know how to do. And he taught you how to do it, but you forgot. So now you can hit him up and be like, hey, you remember that assignment on such and such? Do you still have that sheet? Maybe you can send it to me, right? I still have old professors I hit up all the time. Several were references from my PE, right? And I've got one that calls me every once in a while. He still has a letter I sent back to him. And that's another thing. When you do get your PE, go back and write some handwritten notes to all the people that helped you. I did that. I sent them out to all the people in the old self-addressed stamped envelope days, not just a stupid email. I actually sent them a letter. A couple of them still have it in their desks and they pull it out every once in a while. Hey, I was just seeing your letter the other day. Are you MET?
Computer engineering.
Computer engineering.
Game design and development.
Okay, that's kind of cool. Why aren't you already working though? Why the hell are you getting a degree? They don't require a degree, just go work. Don't know?
I'm here, I picked something, it's fine.
Is that what it is? So you were just shutting up other people, you're not actually doing it for you?
I picked it because I thought it sounded cool and I've liked it so far.
Okay. So now you got to get a gig doing it to
I
make
put a ton of
sure.
places.
Okay. So
I had
you.
an internship I had an interview for an internship last week.
Okay, cool, cool. All right, so on that, let's go into that for a minute. We're engineers and technical people, right? If I have one option, how many options do I actually have? I have no options. If I have two options, I have a dilemma. And if I have three or more, now I can choose. So that's super important. When you guys are lining up your jobs and getting things set, try to get 3 offers in all at the same time, because then you can make a choice. Does that make sense? Oh, well, how do I do that? Well, you just got to tell them, hey, I'm interviewing a couple spots. I'm really popular. I'm really amazing. I'm worth the wait. You should pay a lot more for me. I'm going to be awesome, right? I owe another interview to somebody. I want to see what they have to say, and then I'm going to come back. Because you want me to come in and be amazing for you and be 100% in, right? Not worrying about what I might have missed out on. Okay, cool. That's one way you get multiple offers. For your internship, if it's the place doing exactly what you think you want to do, and the people there are cool and they're going to teach you stuff, take that shit even if you got to go for free. Sweep the floor if you got to for 2 weeks. Tell them you're going to start. I actually had an intern this past summer. I had a call with him through another person. I woke him up and changed his whole life. He hit me up. He said, hey, I'm coming to work for you. And I said, no, you're not. He was like, yeah, I'm coming to work for you. I was like, no, I don't have a spot. Nowhere for you to go. He's like, I'll start on May 17th. I was like, well, fuck, I guess you're working for me. So he ended up working for me for the whole summer. All because he wouldn't take no for an answer, right? He's like, I don't care. I'll be there May 17th and you're going to put me in doing something and you don't have to pay me shit. I was like, okay. Yes, sir. So there's an idea. You guys have a seat. Get some pizza. I'm hanging out for a few more minutes. Computer engineering, why?
Personally, because...
Why not mechatronics?
I was personally interested in both computer science and electrical engineering. Computer engineering.
Why not mechatronics, man?
Honestly, too
Huh?
much math.
Mechatronics is too much math?
Yeah.
But only for like a short period. Do you think you actually do math when you're out building robots and equipment and shit on the line?
No idea, honestly.
Not much. Not like in class. You only gotta do it for a short time. Sure, you can figure it out for a week, 2 weeks. Yeah, come on, if it gives you a bigger opportunity. Mechatronics is a huge opportunity right now. I used to teach in the department, so I push it a lot. But to me, if that major had been there, that's the one I would have done, 100%. Because you get all of it, and you can emphasize whatever area you want, right? If you like the computer part, you can stay there and do all that and still have the full degree. It looks like you can do everything. Problem with you computer guys is y'all got railed in with the IT people because Karen in HR doesn't know the difference. In computer engineering, that sounds like you're going to work for Intel and she's not going to hire you. So you got to be careful. Is the job you want looking for that as the degree?
Yes, actually.
Are they?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I've actually already talked to a couple of companies, and they told me that as long as I finish the degree, they're willing to hire me.
Okay, why can't they start you before then?
I'm doing an internship with them in about 2 semesters, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're the only people in the world doing this?
I am not sure.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Might be an easy way to find out, right?
Yeah.
Should you?
Yeah.
Okay, why? Should you go see who else is doing it? What do you guys think? Should he? Why?
So we have a choice.
So you have options, yes. How do you know they're paying the most you could be paid or in the coolest place you could be or doing the coolest way that you could? Don't just settle is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Even if you have a co-op job and they've already offered you a job after school, you should be interviewing like a fucking madman, right? That's one of the things I do with staff for me. Hey, before you come work for us, go make sure, like go look around. Like my old co-ops and interns, I would not offer them a job. Like I want you to go find another job and then come back and tell me, no, I will fight you to the death because I'm not working anywhere else. Like that's the kind of people I want to come into my company, right?
Yeah.
So same thing, the reverse, you should do that. Like you want it to absolutely be the place you want to be no matter what. Don't settle, right? Don't lazy, don't get slack, all this kind of, especially right after you get your job. What are you gonna do? You're gonna get fucking lazy, right? You're gonna go to work, come home, chill, watch Netflix, buy a stupid car, buy a house, do all the dumb shit that your parents did, right? Don't do any of that. Keep working, learn how to do stuff, go take the smart guy out to lunch, bank your money, pay yourself first.
At least one more quick question. Do you do anything internationally?
Such as, like work?
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you do?
Sign off on same shit, railing, structures, products, things. It could be all over the place. We do a lot of like military base work and stuff like that. We're not licensed anywhere else, but if you're on federal government property, you can be licensed anywhere in the states and sign off on it. Because the state has no jurisdiction on federal property. So like an air base in Georgia, I could sign off with a Florida stamp if I wanted to. Doesn't matter. Most of the time I'll use the local jurisdiction. But yeah, we do a lot of stuff overseas. Back during all the wars, we built all kinds of things at embassies to keep people out, stuff like that. Security fences and all kinds of cool structures. Bomb-proof stuff, all those kind of things. What do you need? What's your biggest obstacle right now?
Well, I'm trying to find a job, but I don't know, I have no experience.
Why are you trying? Just find a job.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do.
Don't try.
Well, I'm
Do or do
I'm
not.
about
There is
to
no
find
try.
a job. I'm about to find a job there.
Yeah, you're in the process of finding the most amazing job ever. Hey, did you hear the language in the back there? The process of finding the most amazing job ever. Okay, well, what's in the way?
So I graduate next year, or next semester actually. But
Okay. You're a May graduate, which is exactly what you want to be.
yeah, and I'm just looking, applying everywhere I can, and
Why are you applying?
what else am I supposed to do?
Really?
Well,
All right, now we got me on a rant. Okay, if you're hitting apply on some stupid fucking job posting, you're doing it wrong.
All right.
Do you guys want me to elaborate?
Yeah, please.
Where? Where?
Alright, so like if you're going on Indeed or anything, you're pressing apply, you're one of like 30 or 40 different people.
Billions.
Billions of people
Yeah.
pressing.
You're like the
in
sheep.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, are you about to tell us to go to that link to the company? And
Who's doing what you want to do? Who's doing what you want to do? And then you get in their childhood birthday photos. You're in everything they've ever been in their entire life. You're in the background, the foreground. You're talking to them, you're messaging them, you're talking to them while they sleep, right? Because you're not going to be denied. If they are the people that have what you want, go fucking get it. Don't hope they call you. They ain't calling you. What happens when you hit apply? You get dumped in the database with all the other sheep. They run through the screening. They see you're from Venezuela. and you have a weird name, you're thrown out immediately. They don't even fucking look at you, right? Unless they're trying to find you for a shit job that doesn't pay much and then take advantage of you. And then they might call you and see how your English is, right? And then Karen, some lady who hates people from foreign countries, is going to interview you, and you're not getting through that, right? So why would you put your life up to that hope? Why not take control? Why not go talk to the owner that looks like you, talks like you, and is from Venezuela and is looking for people just like you? That would be smarter, right? Go find the people doing exactly what you want to do and don't take no for an answer. But Zane, how do I do that? Well, what if I hit up the engineering manager there and I say, hey, I want to come work for you. You look like you're doing amazing work. Could I send you some DoorDash in exchange for 6 minutes on a call one day? Nobody's saying no to that, dude. Oh, we don't need any people right now. Well, you haven't talked to me. Now you better be fucking good on that call, right? Right? It's the old, hey, you're overqualified, well, overpay me. Like going to practice that and be ready to deliver it just as quick as I did, right? And that's back to practice, right? So you got to get serious about this. Again, if I gave you $1 million to have a job offer by the end of next week, or I took a baseball bat to your knee if you didn't have one, what would you do?
Get a job offer.
Okay, so that's what you do. Yeah, everything's $1 million to you from now on. Like, I'm going to get my million and I want to save my knee, right? So let's put everything we got into it. Why would we half-ass that? Why would we tote the ball all the way to the half-yard line and set it down? Stupid. Finish the job. Get it done, right? Treat it like a senior project. Go crush it, right? Get an offer. Get 3 offers from the most important, coolest people in the world doing it. Well, what if they don't have a job opening? You know what? Last 4 people I've hired, nah, I take that back. We just hired 3. The 4 people before that I hired, we didn't have an open job. I saw badass and made an opportunity for them. If you're that good and you're going to change their company and make things better for them, they'll find a spot for you. Now, after you've made those contacts and you've talked to that engineering manager and you've sent that letter and you've showed up at the office 100 times and you've gone there for lunch and you've offered to sweep the floor for free, and work for 2 weeks for free, go on and apply also. That's cool. Get in there with the sheep. Maybe you hit the lottery and they pull you up there also, right? The easiest way to get that offer is the HR lady comes in and goes, this is the guy, and he already knows you exist. That's how we get a lot of our clients. We have a very dedicated system where we send a mailer, email, and phone call. And we start at the owner or president of the company, and we work our way down week by week until somebody answers. And inevitably what happens is the CAD guy will be like, shit, we need this engineer. They'll go to the engineering manager. He's like, oh yeah, I was thinking about using them. No, the fuck you weren't, right? We just happened to have sent the stuff to him. He already knew we existed. Then he goes to the owner to get it approved. Yeah, I was thinking about calling those guys. No, the fuck you weren't, right? But it gets us that opportunity. That's what you got to be, is relentless. Don't stop. Spend the $2 on mailing something, right? Make the call. Oh, but I don't want to call anybody on the phone. Then quit. Go home. It's too hard. People like me will crush your soul because we don't mind getting on the phone and talking to people, right? That's what Freddie told me. Hey, I'm in America now. I'm going to make all these fat, lazy people wish they had taken advantage of what they have, right? Because he sees it differently than they do, right? You do as well, I'm sure. Yeah. So you got to make it happen. You got to go find those people and get in their childhood birthday photos. Our salesmen at our company are trained to either get the job or a restraining order. And we actually tell the customer that, and they actually laugh about it, but it's gotten us more jobs. I had a guy call me the other day. He was like, if she'll stop calling me, I'll give you the job. I was like, she did her fucking job, right? Be that relentless, okay? Try this. Let's say you can't get through and they don't have a job and nobody will talk to you and you can't even get in the door without security dragging you out to your car, okay? Call and leave the guy a message, 9 a.m. every Tuesday for the rest of your fucking life until you get a job. Hey, it's Caesar. I'm coming to work for you. I'm not taking no for an answer. If I don't hear back from you, I'll call you next Tuesday at 9 a.m. And every Tuesday, what are you going to do? You're going to call that dude. Eventually, you're going to get in. Somebody had a question over here. What was it?
Yeah, so how do you be careful where, let's say, you ask a potential future boss, hey, I'll take you out to lunch, versus, a situation where you could get into trouble for bribery or violation of ethics.
For a lunch? It's probably not the place you want to work, right?
Not like police officers.
I mean, I'm not saying take him out for hookers and blow or anything, but I mean, maybe you have to. If it's in New Jersey, you got to do that. How important is it to you? Everybody's got a price, right? You guys ever thought about that? Anybody that tells me they don't have a price, you got a price. right? Oh, I'd never kill anybody. What if they were about to kill your child? Well, I'd fucking kill them. Just kind of depends on the situation. So how do you, I mean, don't purposefully be stupid, right? This actually came up on one of my YouTube videos. Someone took my advice, but they didn't do it the right way. They went and asked out a female engineer to go to dinner with them, not, hey, can we talk about engineering over lunch? And they actually got in trouble with HR, right? So that was just dumb. Like, but now they know how not to do it. I'm actually proud of them for trying, and now they can come back and try it again. No, I wasn't trying to take you out on a date. I just wanted to talk about the project and learn how to do engineering. How amazing are you? Pitch me. If I wanted to hire you, what would you tell me? Why should I hire you?
I'm the secretary of ASME. I have leadership and STEM backgrounds, and I am currently an MET major sophomore year at KSU. And I'm also in the automotive underwater vehicle mechanical design.
Yeah, UAV's dope, right? 100%. I design things. I'm an amazing engineer. I'm scared to death to talk to people, yet here I am talking to you now.
Yeah. I can do presentations when I actually want to. I can be a leader when I want to.
I would change that wording. Not bad. Good job. So you can fake it till you make it, right? Yeah. Okay, so you just got to get in that mindset. Whatever that mindset is, give her a name, right? What's your name?
Lena.
Lena? So make it Lena the badass presenter, right? And then you ask yourself, well, what would Lena the badass presenter do? And then you just do that. Does that make sense what I said? Yeah. Use these personas in whatever it is you're trying to do. If there's something you're trying to accomplish, just create a persona around it and then get in that mindset, right? Like for me, when I go in the office, I'm leader Zane. I create people who create people. I build strong, profitable businesses. So now I know how to act. Now there's your tip. Wherever you start working, no matter where it is, a couple people should know who you are and how awesome you are. Who do you think those people are? If I was in a manufacturing plant, who?
Receptionist?
If they have one.
Your coworkers, like your people.
Yeah, fuck them. You'll see them all. You'll see them all day.
Technicians?
The lady that approves expense reports and payroll.
HR?
Your boss.
You got to be careful with HR because they will use everything you do against you. Yeah, they're there for the company, not you.
Your supervisor?
Let's see. Your boss's or boss's super person. Maybe it's your secretary, lady, or admin. Like for me, you know my admin, so now you've got to weigh in, right? All you got to do is she thinks you're cool. Like me, I used to bring the only flowers in the world to the lady that worked at the front desk. The thing was, every call came through her. So now she knew me and what I did, and I got a bunch of jobs off of it because she knew me, because I was nice. Most everybody treated her like shit, and like she was just part of the system, and that was her job to do that, right? Treat people like people, right? Same thing, the lady that approves expense reports, that can save you, right? You know what I mean? If you're in a manufacturing plant, whoever the purchasing manager's main person is, that way you can get your part ordered and you don't have to deal with a bunch of POs and bullshit, right? Think about how the system works and who those key nodes are, and then go make sure they know who you are. I actually, at the job that I shut the whole plant down, my second semester, the plant manager would actually come to me when he needed shit done, because I was more connected in the plant than he was, because he was the big boss man and nobody would talk to him, whereas everybody talked to me. So he could ask me what was going on and what information, you know, he could get me and get things done. All right, well, I'll go talk to what's her name in payroll and this thing. He's like, shoot, I can't get her to do shit. Dude, you just gotta be nice. And that's how you help and solve problems and get things done, right? Same thing as an engineer. If something's not working, what do? We figure it out, we find a way to go around it or rebuild it or make it better. Same thing with life and people.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Give yourself some credit, subscribe, that'll help me out. Get me another group of people to talk to. If you know other people, another group, something else. If y'all want to do a video call for the 10 people that weren't here, I'm game. Whatever you guys want to do. Okay?
I mean, if you have an idea of like what kind of people we can try to get you connected with other super organizations, if you have an idea, or if it's just any.
Get me some kids to talk to. From age 7 to 27. Don't care. You got below 30, it's imposter syndrome hell. I got to get you guys through that somehow. We got a lot of things to do in this world, and we got a lot of shit to fix, and we need you guys. Right? All right. Later, caters.